Let's switch gears a little bit and have a little bit of fun. But first, let's talk about something we both have in common, and that is growing up in the city of Vallejo. Even though we
Yeah,
went to different high schools, we attended the same junior high school. I went to Vallejo Junior High School as well. Maybe not at the same time, but talk to us about what growing up in Vallejo has meant to you and what you think is behind the volume of talent that rises out of the itty bitty city by the
that itty bitty city. Um,
bay.
we are if not one of the most diverse cities in California and in America, period. I'm not sure how many places you will go and you'll see every ethnicity, every culture. Now, when we were going to school, you saw everybody. You saw Black, you saw Filipino, you saw Latino, you saw Asian, you saw everybody.
Mhm.
And so the diversity, I feel like, is what makes Vallejo really, really beautiful. We have the hills and the valleys. We have the stone concrete and we have, the beautiful shores of Glen Cove. You have these beautiful bridge that kind of, you can go down to the Glen Cove Water Park and see, and then you can go over to Highway 37 and see the marsh, and then you can go over to, Hillside all the way to the crest. You
Mhm.
see everything in between. So the diversity of ethnicities and cultures and backgrounds, I think, is something that's powerful. And I used to think we were such a David to the Goliath of the Bay Area until I went overseas. And I went to Middlesex University in London, England for the first
Mhm.
semester of my master's. And I went and I was in a flat with a bunch of different people. And I got a job at a hip hop promoter's place. And I said, I'm from a place called Vallejo, by San Francisco, by Oakland. And he was like, I know where Vallejo is. And then he starts spitting Mac Dre and starts spitting E40. And I said, look at Vallejo in 1998 being international. And
Wow.
so our itty bitty city is not just now getting on the map, it's been on the map for a minute.
Mhm.
East Coast all the way to London, England. So the diversity is something that no one can shake. We used to call it what, Marine World?
Mm, right, right.
That's what everybody used to,
Marine
And
world.
so sometimes I'll be talking to the students and be like, Six Flags, Seven Flags, and they're like, Seven Flags a car wash. I'm like, listen, I grew up with Marine World, so
Marine
I don't know
world.
what
It's
y'all
still
talking
marine
about.
world as far as I
You
know.
know, but I think we have a David and Goliath itty bitty city type thing. And yeah, people say, oh, Vallejo's just now getting on the map. We've been on the map.
Yeah,
Sly and the Family Stone can function. Come on.
for
We've
sure.
been on the map, you know. But I think the diversity is what makes us beautiful. I tell people the story of Vallejo, Mariano Guadalupe Vallejo,
Mhm.
his wife Benicia, knowing the history that we used to be the capital.
Mhm.
People don't know that,
Yep.
right? But we have a David and Goliath. We are the itty bitty city, but we're powerful. We're that ripple in the pond. We're the one that people go, no, 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 not the one that's near San Francisco, the one that's near Vallejo, you
Yeah.
know. So it's different now, but we are the Davids, the underdogs, the ones that sometimes people overlook, but then we make that impact.
Make that impact so much so that, like you said, the David and Goliath. There was a one point where, like I said in the previous episode, Vallejo didn't even exist. If you look at a map of California, it wasn't even listed on the map,
Mhm.
and now it's in big bold letters like Oakland and San Francisco ain't even half the size of those cities.
That part.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
That part.
so it says something, and that, like you said, that's crazy when you said over in in Middlesex,
Middlesex
London
University.
or England.
Mhm. London, England. Yep.
Man,
Technically, I lived in Tottenham, but Middlesex is in London, England. It's
and somebody over there spitting Mac Dre.
oh my goodness. I actually went to a club out there, and I saw Busta Rhymes live, and they were playing E40 and Mac Dre. And I said, oh, this is wild.
Wow, that's
This
dope.
is wild. These are some real hip hop heads.
Yeah,
When you are, it's not underground. It's just, if you know hip hop, you know hip hop. You
exactly.
know the history of it. You know the culture of it. You know the hitters.
That's
You
right.
know, and so it wasn't just Oakland, Richmond, San Francisco. It was Vallejo. It
Yep.
was Vallejo.
Yep. And I agree totally with the diversity in the code. Like I mention all usually in 2014, Huffington Post ranked Vallejo, California, the most diverse city in America.
Mm.
I
Oh,
know
well,
that
there
was
you
over
go.
10 years ago, but to be ranked the number one in anything as far as a city and the most diverse, that goes to show it is not like all of the races left Vallejo as soon as 2014, 2015 hit.
Mm.
They still there.
Hmm, for sure.
They still there.
For
We're probably
sure.
still the most diverse city.
Oh yeah.
they're just not coming back to Vallejo to find out. you know.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're really going to talk about Vallejo as far as a place for people living, my parents moved to Vallejo not just for the diversity, but for the weather. It
Mm.
was the perfect blend. Obviously, they're coming
Wow.
from Florida, but it is the perfect blend of weather.
Yeah.
Sac is too hot. San
hmm
Francisco is too cold. No disrespect to both.
hmm
Vallejo is where it's at.
It's right there. You got a little
It's
bit of the
right
breeze from
there.
the water, but you got the mountains to block some of that heat and to block some of that cold front wind. Yep,
Yes,
you're right. It's
it's
perfect. And
perfect
I never really
weather.
thought you got flat land, we got mountains, we got water, we got bridges, we got a nearby. I mean, the beach ain't big, but we got a little beach in Vallejo. Like
Yes,
Vallejo got a
you
little
got
bit of
everything.
everything. You got a
You
little
got
bit of
everything you're
everything.
looking for. If you want some snow, you can drive a little ways. If you want to, go and get your suntan on, you can drive a little ways. It's actually situated perfectly in the
Yeah.
bay. So let's not talk about the weather because the weather is. I'm not going anywhere.
No,
I need these
see,
housing prices to
that's
go
the
down.
one thing I always miss. Like when anybody asks me when now, you miss California? Of course I miss California, but what do you miss about it? The weather,
The
the weather, and
weather,
my family, but the weather. You
the
know, it
weather.
cannot be beat. I don't. I've been to so many places around the country. In Florida, I just left Florida, Orlando, Miami. Been on the East Coast, North, South. It don't compare. Not even in the Bay Area. San Francisco
Mm-mm.
don't compare to Vallejo in
Nope.
weather. LA, Southern California don't compare to Vallejo in weather. So
No, no, the weather is perfect here, and if I could take this weather anywhere, this is a place to be as far as weather. So diversity and weather.
for sure, for sure. All right. Well, now let's get into some little bit more fun stuff. You at toward the end, you started mentioning some names of some groups
Yes.
and some music. So